rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. For some reason, Rumble is not working. That's odd, because it's there. Yeah. That's interesting. Rumble, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to want to work, or is not working tonight. That's extremely odd. And I don't know why. I can't tell you why. Because I can see everything on, I can see everything in studio. Everything else is working, so X or YouTube. Anyway. Yeah. Facebook is running, and I guess Rumble's been glitching all day. So much for that. Anyway, but I know X is operational as of right now, and X is operational, Facebook is operational. Facebook is operational, YouTube is operational, so let's just, I guess you guys will have to just jump over there. Facebook is just, or what do you call it? Rumble is screwing up. I hate that. Especially considering the fact that Rumble itself is like my chosen platform. So I don't know what the heck happened as to why they all of a sudden are not working. But I see it running in studio. I just don't see it playing on the actual, I see it in the Rumble studio background, but I don't see it playing in the actual Rumble thing. So anyway, I'm sorry, guys. That's pretty bad. All right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight tonight up for the Pledge of Allegiance is Squishy. Squishy is up for the pledge. So if you are of mine, please stand. Remove your hat if you're wearing one like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with Squishy as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and of course I thank you, Squishy, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email address. My email address is fans, F-A-N-S, @AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, @AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation. I'm looking for number 21, and we've got 20, but I need 21, and so yeah, I would like to get that. So if you can, Yeah, there we go. If you can, go ahead and do that. And if you're doing it on your phone, okay, if you do it on your phone, you can use the share option and send it off to me at fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. I'm trying to chat and talk at the same time. Yeah, which doesn't really help much. You know, I really need to try and figure out a way to get somebody here. Yeah, I really need to get somebody here. So, do all that, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, all right, folks. Let's go ahead and continue on. So tonight, obviously, is the for the headline sponsor is for the Institute on the Constitution. There it is. Press the right button. The Institute on the Constitution was established in 2004 as a 501c3 nonprofit with one singular mission. And that is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. All courses and materials are developed using primary source documents and taught from the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate your community and get involved with local government. Start by taking their free U.S. Constitution course and go from there. Use my affiliate link, iotc.americanperspective.online, to sign up, and while you are there, take a moment to look through their other course material and information. My affiliate link, once again, is iotc.americanperspective.online, and you will, to get great content, to learn about our historical founding and support the show in the process. That's iotc.americanperspective.online. Or if you just want to purchase this fabulous Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution to support the show, go to constitution.americanperspective.online. Take a look at this wonderful document. It's got 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue here, folks. This is stitched all the way through the leather and the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if you have a problem with this wonderful product, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. It has been buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved, and my youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you to study for your civics badge in Scouts, as well as your civics exam, if they still have those. Go to constitution.americanperspective.online and get yours today. You might want to order soon if you're planning on stuffing them in the stockings, because, it's getting to the point where you may not be able to get it in time. You might want to hurry up and buy them. Hello, hint, hint. Great stocking stuffers. That's all I'm going to say. So do yourself a favor. Head on over to the Institute on the Constitution and check out all of their offerings. And I, of course, am thankful that they are allowing me to be a brand affiliate. Well, I'm sorry about Rumble. That is pretty bad. I guess Rumble's been having problems all day. I wouldn't know because I wasn't watching Rumble at all today. I was busy in a whole bunch of other ways. Anyway. All right. No alcohol drink tonight. But I needed to get my whistle wet, so. Breaking news right before, and I mean literally right before I come on the air. Breaking news. Congratulations, Texas. The Supreme Court has upheld your election map that favors Republicans. You know that Texas election map that has been hotly contested, that spawned the California constitutional discrepancy redistricting that they did with Prop 50 that's still going in the court system. And they were saying that, oh, yeah, Texas's election map. And you had that judge who said, no, this is racist. And then the what do you call it? The appeals court heard it and everything else. Well, now the Supreme Court has weighed in on this. And the Supreme Court ordered late today, like I said, breaking news, that the redrawn election map is allowed. Now, Samuel Alito filed the opinion concurring in the order. Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch joined in the concurrence. And, yeah. So on November 21st, the Supreme Court took action hours after Texas appealed a federal district court ruling striking down the election map. Under the Federal Voting Rights Act, the state is allowed to file an appeal directly with the Supreme Court, bypassing the U.S. Court of Appeals in the Fifth Circuit. So that's why they didn't have to go through the U.S. Court of Appeals. Alito, who oversees the urgent appeals from Texas, issued an administrative stay on that date, halting the lower court ruling. The administrative stay temporarily preserved the status quo while giving the justices more time to consider the case. And now they have essentially said, yep, it stands. So, there you go. So, there you go. And, congratulations, Texas. It is now standing. They, and this might even give again, because keep in mind that the 3-panel U.S. District Court overturned the map originally because of the, quote, substantial evidence that shows that Texas racially gerrymandered this map. This might be an indication about the Voting Rights Act Section 2 that the SCOTUS is currently looking at for the Louisiana redistricting that is currently in the Supreme Court. So this could be, not saying it is, but it could be a signal that basically says, yeah, we're done with this racial claims, racist redistricting claims, and all this other stuff. So yeah, there you go. Congratulations, Texas. So now we don't have to worry about that anymore. They're done. And that's it. It's over. It's been upheld. So, sweet. Also too, fairly early on today, Jim Jordan demands an answer on Arctic frost, and he has now subpoenaed former special counsel Jack Smith in that process. So, yeah, he wants, Jim Jordan wants him and has demanded that he appear before the committee on December 17th. He wrote, due to your service as special counsel, the committee believes that you possess information that is vital to the oversight of the Arctic frost operation. So the forthcoming deposition, which is set to take place behind closed doors, comes as the House and Senate Republicans have zeroed in on Smith's election-related investigation of Trump, describing it as a scandal that unnecessarily swept up hundreds of Republican lawmakers, GOP entities, Trump allies, and the media outlets as part of this Arctic frost probe. Yeah. So hopefully we're going to get some more answers out of that. And then, I should call this, if I do this kind of a section ahead in the show, again, maybe I should call this like fast news or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, next up, there was a third ISIS-K suspect netted in Virginia that came in through the Biden administration's Afghan pipeline. And, yeah. So now we've got another one that has been caught. ICE agents arrested Afghan national Jan Shah Safi, or Safi. Anyway, he's an alleged ISIS-K supporter who was brought into the country under former President Joe Biden's Operation Allies Welcome and was captured in Waynesboro, Virginia. He was arrested as President Donald Trump and his administration confront the surge of terror cases tied to Afghan individuals that came in here. The Department of Homeland Security said Wednesday that Safi, S-A-F-I, however you pronounce that, arrived in the U.S. on September 8th, 2021 in Philadelphia. He also applied for temporary protected status, though his application was terminated when DHS Secretary Kristi Noem ended the TPS for Afghans. Rightfully so. So there you go. Anyway, so there you go. By the way, ISIS-K stands for Islamic State Khorasan Province, which is a branch of ISIS that works in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and the other countries that are in that region. Yeah. There you go. You know, the Biden administration, I just got to say, with this whole idea of bringing in nearly 190 Afghan nationals into the U.S. that were unvetted, that's just stacking up on the pile of all kinds of, shall we say, scandals of the Biden administration. Yeah. And a a massive threat to national security, of course. Now, keep in mind, obviously, that this isn't our problem here in America is not limited to just Afghani refugees, quote unquote. We actually have been importing all kinds of people from other third world countries like Somalia, Haiti, etc., that have been causing us problems. And of course, the Somalis in Minnesota have been caught up in a big, huge fraud scandal over there, which we've been talking about for some time. All right, let's get into some serious meat. You remember when Pete Hegseth first started as the Secretary of War? Of course, back then he was the Secretary of Defense. You remember that whole signal scandal that had been going on, like that it was reported. It was reported that that Pete Hegseth had put out a bunch of classified information on Signal and so on and so forth. Do you remember that? You remember that? Well, the Inspector General's office has been investigating on that, and now we have a statement from Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell. And Sean is going to let us know a little bit about what the heck happened with this whole scenario. As soon as I can get the video up on the screen. I believe this is it. Let's see. Yep, there it is. All right, so let's take a listen to Sean Parnell describe what the heck happened within the IG's report.
I kind of want to get your take on the Signal Gate.
Yeah.
Obviously, the IG report being leaked out there. Are you happy with the report?
Of course. I mean, so you remember the narrative back in March, I think, when the Signal stuff broke, was that the secretary shared classified information and broke the law, and shared classified war plans and put American troops. I mean, obviously, like what the IG report shows now is that the secretary did not share classified information, so, and did not break the law. And to me, and not just to me. I mean, the secretary has been totally exonerated. I mean, the narrative that the media pushed back then in the heat of the Signalgate stuff was fake, and today that narrative has been exposed. And, you know, you'll see out there, you know, a bunch of headlines where you know, mainstream media outlets are using the word sensitive. That's not a classification term. They are using that term to make it seem like he shared classified information, but the fact is he did not, and he did not put U.S. troops at risk. I'm sure you're going to see that fake narrative peddled out there as well, as evidenced by the success of the operation itself. Operation Rough Rider was a clear-cut mission with a clear-cut end state. No U.S. troops killed, no U.S. troops wounded, thank God. So obviously, no Americans were put at risk. So we're glad that the IG report is out. We're glad that we can put this entire fake news narrative to bed. But he's completely cleared, no classified information, didn't break the law, and that's the most important part.
And there you go. So Hegseth is cleared of that issue, which of course the Democrats are like freaking out about with regards to that. However, there is kind of an interesting comment. I don't know if you saw this, but there's this whole thing about leaking the report, because apparently the report itself is supposed to have been classified. So it was a classified Inspector General report. In fact, here is a snippet of CNN Politics where they circle that. This is yeah. Now notice, like Sean Parnell said, compromising sensitive military information they show in the CNN article. But further down, of course, 4 sources familiar with the contents of a classified Inspector General report. So here we are again. We've got Democrats leaking information. We've got Democrat-run mainstream media outlets leaking information, which shouldn't be leaked. Well, there's even one more individual on the Democrats, and, you know, it's not just the mainstream media. They had to get the information from somewhere. And according to the Wall Street Journal, they got it from none other than one of the seditious 6, Senator Mark Kelly. That's right. So, yeah. Anyway, Senator Mark Kelly, you know, and of course the Wall Street Journal is kind of writing their articles, as you can see on the screen, that, yeah, again, they're outside of the Wall Street Journal opinion column. The Wall Street Journal itself leans left. But anyway, yeah, sensitive information. There's no classification, like Sean Parnell says, that it's sensitive information. It's a thing. Now, the Defense Department Inspector General, by the way, according to the Wall Street Journal, also concluded that as Pentagon chief, that Hegseth actually has the authority to declassify Defense Department information. So that means that the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, didn't break the law. So there you go. These freaking moron Democrats are jumping around, and, you know, another narrative gotten rid of, like the boats in the Caribbean. Speaking of boats in the Caribbean, the ABC News has now destroyed the narrative that these boats that we've been hitting have been fishermen. It also destroys this whole narrative, too, about Pete Hegseth, where Pete Hegseth gave a illegal order or an unlawful order to hit the boat again, because as we've pointed out, or as it has been pointed out, and I pointed it out here on this program, you know, when you're told to destroy a target, and this whole idea that, oh, there were 2 survivors, they were floating, they should have gone and picked him up. Yeah, ABC News just destroyed that narrative by putting out this. ABC News Tonight piece. Take a listen.
Tonight, new information, according to a source familiar with...
Sorry about this. Let's do this again here. Hold on. I hate this when it does this.
Source familiar with the incident, the two survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice.
This backs up the entire second strike.
There you go. And actually, that was Fox News, Jesse Waters at the end. But there you go. I mean, there you go. Right there. Oh, my gosh. ABC News. Just clarified, classified, quantified, whatever kind of "fied" you want to put. They just told everybody exactly how and why the second strike was ordered. Oh, I swear these leftist lunatic idiots are running around and, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's debunk another narrative. So there's a new, well, not new, it's an old video, but there's a new narrative by Captain Mark Kelly, who is talking about Pete Hegseth and Pete Hegseth possibly court-martialing Captain Mark Kelly for that Seditious 6 video, which he should be. I mean, he literally is in violation of 18 United States Code Section 2387. There is no way, in fact, all 6 of them in the video are. There is no way that you can sit here and tell me or tell anybody with any ounce of sense that this was not intended to foment disloyalty and, that kind of stuff within the military. I forgot my other word. But anyway, there's a new video or a video that came out from 2016-ish that has Pete Hegseth apparently discussing in some sort of like town hall meeting or whatever the concept of unlawful orders. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this really quick.
I do think there have to be consequences for abject war crimes. If you're doing something that is just completely unlawful and ruthless, then there is a consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow unlawful orders from their commander-in-chief. There's a standard, there's an ethos, there's a belief that we are above what so many things that our enemies or others would do.
So, Senator, what do you think of that?
Okay, so that is, now I'll get to Mark Kelly's comments here in just a second, but that is the piece. Now, that is an entirely different tone than what the video of the Seditious 6, of which this moron behind me here, right over here, is a part of. But that is a different tone than what was taken in the Seditious 6 video, which was essentially calling out that, yes, the American military is being used against American civilians. They made that claim in the video. And that again, they need to, you as a military service member should disobey illegal orders. Okay? Well, anyway, let's hear what Mark Kelly has to say about this.
Well, Aaron, I think he's correct, and it's exactly what we said.
No, no, Mark, it isn't what you said. See, because you were specifically talking to people in the military, people in the intelligence community, while as Pete Hegseth was discussing as a general topic in front of a town hall. He wasn't specifically saying that you should. He was basically saying this is why we have it. He was using it as a discussion point, not as a targeted conversation with the people who were essentially being manipulated or attempting to be manipulated, which again is a violation of 18 USC section 2387, attempting to be manipulated into refusing what would become lawful orders, because again, these are all lawful orders. I mean, I just showed you the potential unlawful order that you guys have been talking about, that the mainstream media has been talking about for the last week in regards to the boat. Well, you just heard it from ABC. They went back to the boat. They were attempting to radio. They were attempting to save the drugs. Therefore, they continue to be in, quote unquote, in the fight. Therefore, became legal targets just by their activity. So anyway, let's continue with what Mark Kelly has to say.
But when we said it, Pete Hegseth now, that 8 years later, or 9 years later, he says what we said was false and reckless.
It was about how you said it, you moron. It wasn't as a general conversation piece. It was how you said it. It was how you said it. And you know, to be honest with you, I mean, if I was one of the few, okay, one of the few who were saying this, who basically had looked at your video and said, you know what? Yeah, okay, it really is nothing. But I'm not. There is a huge section of individuals who are both from the military and not from the military, part of the legal system, not part of the legal system, that are all saying the exact same thing. In fact, I played within the last week, I played that one Buzz, I think it was Buzz Anderson was his last name. But anyway, I played to you his response to that video. And now the White House itself has put out a video of former veterans calling out you Seditious 6 for your behavior. In fact, let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
The White House has made it very clear the orders that come from the Commander-in-Chief and the Secretary of War have been upheld as lawful. Suggesting otherwise creates confusion and weakens our national security.
For these senators and members of Congress to come forward and use their status as veterans to claim in some way that they are allowed to stand in the chain of command is treasonous.
This is an insult by all of these seditious six that took place in these videos.
Their seditious behavior should be dealt with, and 100% supported President Trump.
It's not ironic, though, that these are all Democrats that defy and despise the President of the United States, and they would love to see some form of uprising in this country to go against the President.
These senators should absolutely be investigated to the fullest extent of the law.
The seditious six don't care about illegal orders. They are trying to recruit the next wave of insurgents to attack President Trump.
And you've given no evidence what his illegal orders were?
As your brother in arms, I say, stand firm, honor the chain, protect what we have bled for. God bless our troops, and God bless President Trump for calling this out.
And there you go. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not the only one. And believe me, even if I was the only one, I'd be like, man, what the hell is going on with all of the rest of you? You know, I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, well, you know, this is obvious. This is obvious. Well, guess what? Mark Kelly has now stepped in it even further. He was apparently on an MS Now, or it used to be MSNBC, but MS Now program. And, well, let's just say he, you know, one of the pieces of advice that I've been giving people here recently is that when you find yourself in a hole, the first thing that you should do is stop digging. Apparently, Mark Kelly is not done digging yet. Yeah, let's just hear and listen to what he has to say here.
Now, we have members of the United States military that have been put in an impossible situation because they're given, in the case of what we've seen here over the last couple of days, clearly unlawful, illegal orders. And there's tremendous pressure.
Really? They have been? No. See, all evidence points to the otherwise. I mean, take a look at that ABC video. Take a look at that ABC. It's just what I just played for you just shortly ago. No, they haven't been given illegal, unlawful orders. They have been given legal ones. They have been given lawful ones. This is not something that you're sitting here, trying to create. Again, here is another violation. One more, directly by Mark Kelly himself. His intent here is to foment disloyalty and insubordination in the military. I'm going to let him finish.
Pressure on him, and that was the point, of our video, is to remind, members of the military that they have an obligation to follow the law. It wasn't specific to this case, but when you consider who this Secretary of Defense is and who this president is, we felt it was a very important message to get to our warfighters.
Except they have all been cleared and shown that they are not illegal orders or unlawful orders, like you morons seem to want to think that they are. So yeah. Anyway, what an idiot. Well, now we no longer have the Seditious 6. We actually have the Seditious 7. That's right, folks. There is a senator, another senator, congressperson now, senator and congressperson, kind of the same thing, because Congress comprises the Senate and the House of Representatives. But we now have another senator who is now openly calling, and saying that the military itself may have to commit seditious acts. Whoops, wrong button. Take a listen to this, moron.
Unprecedented disrespect when they were all brought to get a pep rally in front of Hegseth and Trump. This is an administration that's fired, uniform generals from the head of the NSA, the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. And I think...
Okay, so just really quick, before we go too far with this guy, really quick, people have been fired. Generals have been fired by presidents all the way back to Lincoln. This is not, firing people who do not follow your vision of the administration. That's nothing unusual. Barack Obama fired generals. Seriously. Anyway, this guy's an idiot and a complete utter moron, but we'll let him speak.
In many ways, the uniformed military may help save us from this president and his lame people like Hegseth, because I think their commitment is to the Constitution and obviously not to Trump, and I expect Bradley to adhere to that.
Oh, there it is. There it is. He's basically saying, and again, there's another violation of 18 USC, Section 2387. His intent is to literally foment, disloyalty and insubordination within the ranks. That's it. So there you go. Now we no longer have the Seditious 6. We've got the Seditious 7. Because this guy just said, well, the uniformed military may be the ones to save us. They may be the ones to save us. Anyway. By the way, just as a point of contention and a point of note to this Senator Warner, who's an idiot, the Constitution calls out that the only way to remove a president, realistically, is impeachment and removal. So impeachment by the House of Representatives and removal by the trial in the Senate as the only way to remove a president. So if the military were to try and remove the president, that would be considered treasonous and a seditious act. The military plays no role in the impeachment process, according to the Constitution. Folks, we have so many of these entire, utter, complete, and stupid morons. And I know, stupid and moron, they kind of describe the same thing. And I've been told, oh, you can't use the two of them together. No, I can. It's an intentional double hit. Because you complete and utter stupid morons in Congress not only do not understand the Constitution, not only do not understand how our government and system works anymore, which, you know, again, this is realistically, I mean, I'm just going to put it where it lands. This is the American people and the electorate's problem. This is literally the American people's issue, because the electorate, the people that vote for these idiots, put them into office. See, unfortunately, the vast majority of Americans have moved so far away from the idea that politics is like this extremely important thing. And believe me, it actually is. Okay? This is ridiculous. Totally and utterly ridiculous to think that we have essentially what I would consider many of the stupidest people on the planet leading us. There's no other animal kingdom that allows the dumbest member of the order necessarily to lead them. Usually it's the strongest member. It's the one that is the most powerful member that is who leads them. And these dumbasses, complete and utter stupid morons, are sitting here trying to tell us that, first of all, that Trump is an illegitimate president, that Trump is issuing illegal orders. So far, he has won so many cases at the SCOTUS level that he's the most constitutional president of the last three, counting Trump, Obama, and the non-compos mentis Biden, which is basically just Obama 2.0. And all of these idiots are standing here and they're trying to, like, they are literally attempting a color revolution against Trump. Thankfully, we have people in these offices who are essentially, making absolutely certain that things are still moving within the administration. I mean, I just can't believe that, we as American citizens have removed ourselves so far from politics that we're electing the stupidest among us, because that's basically what we're looking at. And the vast majority of them are Democrats, but not all. But the vast majority are Democrats. This is just absolutely, utterly ridiculous. All right, let me take a quick drink, wet my whistle. All right. So, I want to say that it appears that Dan Bongino has followed up with one of his promises that he made when he left and became the deputy director of the FBI. Because announced today, and here I'm showing you the Just the News catalog, or article, that the FBI has now arrested a suspect who is accused of planting the pipe bombs near the DNC and the RNC the night before January 6th. Now, contrary to what a lot of people were trying to infer, that it was Marjorie Taylor Greene or that it was some woman who did it, But the person who was arrested is male, and his arrest included the FBI going to his house. So they have made an arrest in connection with the pipe bombs. The arrest today comes after a nearly 5-year investigation to identify the bomber, who in a surveillance video appears to be a male in hoodie and gloves and a face mask. The person that was arrested, of course, is a resident of Woodbridge, Virginia, law enforcement told both the New York Post and Fox News. A second senior law enforcement official said that a break in the case came when the agency assigned a new team to the case that began to evaluate the case with new tools. The second official also said the FBI has yet to learn the suspect's motive and that the investigation continues. Now, you recall that when Dan Bongino took off, this is one of his big pet peeves, was that there was absolutely no movement on this case. And one of the things that he mentioned was that when he was going in to the FBI as the deputy director, was that this was going to be one of the things that he was definitely going to focus on. Who was this guy? Now, apparently this individual was, according to court records, this individual was caught by going through credit card records, cell phone data, and finding out that he went and bought pipes, black end caps, electrical wires from numerous Home Depots between May 2019 and November of 2020. He apparently also purchased steel wool, which was packed inside the quote-unquote pipe bombs from Home Depot as well. He also apparently purchased 5 9-volt battery connectors from Micro Center. Some of those he used cash. Then he goes and he purchases kitchen timers from Walmart. Now, you recall during this, you'll recall that these pipe bombs had these kitchen timers that were supposedly set for like 20 minutes. And the bombs, and this was one of the inconsistencies that Dan kept pointing out. Like, a kitchen timer, it's an egg timer. It's like 60 seconds or 60 minutes at the most. It's an hour. And you go and you turn the dial and, and it runs. And he's like, these were planted at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. And they weren't discovered until later on the next day. So, yeah. Anyway, data from this guy's, the arrestees' cell phone provider showed that he was near the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, January 5th, 2021, between 7:39 p.m. and 8:24 p.m. The phone company also provided it in February 2021 contained an error that was corrected 2 months later, according to the filing in court. This gentleman drives a 2017 Nissan Sentra with Virginia plates, and it was captured by a license plate reader on I-395 South near the Capitol at 7:34 p.m. And 3 weeks before the bombs were placed on December 14th in 2020, the guy had apparently bought food from a restaurant in the area. So they got this guy, cell phone data and all, and as well as history of purchase receipts of the exact pieces that the devices were made out of. Bravo to the FBI under Kash Patel and Dan Bongino for finally bringing this thing to a close. And believe it or not, it's not as though they couldn't have done it. I mean, under Biden's watch, they just didn't care. They just didn't care. Well, surprise of all surprises, not really to anybody that was paying attention who has, more than 2 brain cells to rub together. There's a watchdog group that has uncovered massive, massive fraud and waste under the Obamacare insurance tax credits. You know those things that the left shut down the government for like 40 days that they wanted to have them extended and so on and so forth? Yeah. So the Government Accountability Office identified almost 66,000 Social Security numbers that had more than 366 days of coverage under Obamacare. So this came as an analysis of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, commonly known as Obamacare. It unveiled this massive fraud that could be costing taxpayers billions of dollars. Now, this is a report that was released yesterday. Under the program, the federal government pays credits to health insurance companies called Advanced Premium Tax Credit, APTC, on behalf of eligible Obamacare participants to reduce their monthly premium payments. In plan year 2024, almost is there a point there? No, it's almost 124 billion in such credits is estimated to have been paid out, around and accounting for roughly around 19.5 million enrollees. The GAO report identifies instances of Social Security number abuse involving identity theft and similar fraudulent practices. The GAO's analysis identified more than 29,000 Social Security numbers that had insurance coverage with APTC for more than 365 days in the plan year of 2023. That's suggesting that these Social Security numbers could be used by multiple Obamacare enrollees. The most frequently used Social Security number in the plan year 2023 was used to receive subsidized insurance coverage for over 26,000 days. For those of you that haven't quite figured this out, that's 71 years of coverage across over 125 insurance policies. Seriously? And you sit here and tell me that the government itself is able to prevent fraud and everything else. That this unconstitutional program, because again, I keep pointing out that healthcare does not exist in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. But, I mean, what? Seriously? Anyway, the report also revealed, by the way, that the Social Security numbers of deceased individuals were also being used to get benefits. For the plan year 2023, the agency identified more than 58,000 Social Security numbers that received APTC and matched the death data with the, from the Social Security Administration. The GAO conducted an analysis of 26,000 out of the 58,000 Social Security numbers of dead people, estimating that the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services paid out more than, get this, 94 million in APTC credits. And you wonder why we're like 36 trillion dollars, 37 trillion, 38 trillion, 39 trillion dollars in debt. And you wonder why. Oh my gosh. In a December 3rd statement, the House Ways and Means Committee said that the GAO investigation reveals large-scale systemic failures that enable Obamacare subsidies to be obtained via fake identities, improper use of Social Security numbers, and dead people. It said this not only results in wasteful spending on enrollees who are ineligible for the program, but also causes harm and unexpected costs for people, including the loss of access to medical providers and higher copayments. There you go. There you go. It highlighted that $21 billion in subsidies were paid out in 2023 without any evidence of tax reconciliation, accounting for close to a third of all APTC paid on behalf of identifiable Social Security number holders that year. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely, utterly ridiculous. There is no reason why we shouldn't even be talking about this. This stuff needs to go. It needs to go. Obamacare needs to go. The federal government needs to get out of these social programs and get back within its constitutional boundaries under Article 1, Section 8. Now, in its analysis, the GAO also examined the effectiveness of the program's enrollment controls in tackling fraud risks. Investigators created 20 fictitious identities and submitted fake applications for individual health care coverage via the federal marketplace, where the insurance plans can be purchased under the PPACA. The GAO sent applications for 4 of these fictitious identities on October of 2024. The federal marketplace approved fully subsidized insurance coverage for all 4 of our fictitious applicants for November through December of 2024. The combined total amount of APTC paid to insurance companies for all 4 fictitious enrollees was around $2,350 per month, the report said. So there you go. There you go. The analysis detected identity verification loopholes in the federal marketplace. Out of the 4 applicants, 2 were sent via the healthcare.gov site. Although the 2 applicants initially failed the online identity proofing step, they were cleared to proceed after fictitious identification documents were also submitted. The remaining 2 applications were submitted by brokers who worked with the Federal Marketplace call center to successfully submit both applications despite having an invalid Social Security number provided by the GAO. Yeah, according to this report. So, Really? And the Democrats are still pushing to extend these Obamacare tax credits before they expire at the end of December. And yet this report comes out that basically says there's been all kinds of fraud, waste, and abuse in this program. Get the government out of this kind of crap. All right. In the final minutes here, last article, Trump has announced a rollback of Biden-era fuel standards, and the Trump administration says that by doing so, it will save Americans $109 billion. This is something that needs to happen. People, the only way that we're going to make things affordable, again, is you either increase supply, and therefore it lowers the prices because demand will drop because there's a plethora of the item out there. And at the same time, you roll back government regulations on all this crap. And this is just this is a good thing. I'm behind President Trump on all of that. He eliminated fuel standard regulations imposed by President Joe Biden with the executive order signed December 3rd in the Oval Office. He says, we're officially terminating Joe Biden's ridiculous, burdensome, horribly, actually, fuel economy standards that imposed expensive restrictions and all sorts of problems. Today, my administration is taking historic action to lower costs for American consumers, protect American auto jobs, and make buying a car more affordable and safer. I'm behind it. I'm behind him for this. This is absolutely fantastic. We'll see the impact of this as time goes by. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, even though Rumble is running out tonight, you still got to go over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And make sure that you sign up. When you're signed in, then go and search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Otherwise, you found me on Facebook, X, YouTube as well. So don't forget before you head out to hit those thumbs up, thumbs downs, or in the case of 3 Chevy, and I don't know how he's going to do this on Facebook, but thumb sideways across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or of course, Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.